I can't say that I expected to be making this video today, or maybe at all, but alas, here we are. A while back, Treyarch had briefly talked about how we may see some content throughout the current year and continuing the offering of operators and keeping up the storyline for Black Ops Cold War with zombies alongside Vanguard, stating that they weren't quite done with everything yet. And today, well, there was a surprise Black Ops Cold War update. 2 and 2 may be able to be put together here, but while nothing has released just yet, what's the true nature behind this update and potentially the content to follow? Today we're breaking down what you need to know in what may be the first bit of content for Black Ops Cold War Year 2. As we go along, let me know your thoughts down below. Firstly, would you like to see this content continue for Cold War? Was it a game that you enjoyed and you'd like to go back to, or it's something you may pass up when these new items come out? And also, if so, what would you like to see added as a part of Year 2 of content? Let me know down below, and if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, drop a like on the video. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all things Season 2 related across Vanguard, Warzone, and even perhaps Black Ops Cold War. Lots on deck, so make sure you're here for all of it, but let's jump into it. So, like we said, last month, almost to the day, Treyarch put out a blog post talking about Vanguard zombies and what's to come in the game's mode. They talked about quite a bit, but at the end, they capped it off with a section called Looking Ahead, which had previewed some of what we'd see in Season 2, things like a new hub map, wonder weapons, quests, and all, but then, to close it out, they said, and we're not even done updating our roster of operators in Black Ops Cold War, which was the first official confirmation of continued support for Cold War. Now, today, update 1.28 went out to many surprise, and it was a hefty 9 gigabytes of an update. Now, Treyarch listed their patch notes here from it, and it's kind of surprising because it might not be what you expect for 9 gigabytes of data. According to their official Trello board, they ended up talking that there were a few things changed from progression, general changes, multiplayer changes, and some zombies UI changes. All of these are pretty much seemingly incredibly small, i.e. the progression had a change where it renamed the progression tab to career progression and added a legacy progression tab in barracks for easier progression navigation. For something, say, like the combat record, they addressed an issue where the combat record would sometimes appear locked under certain circumstances. So none of these fixes and general changes for this update that was listed was anything that would warrant a 9 gigabyte update. So if you think there's more to the story, well, there likely is, and your hunch may actually be correct, because on the front-facing side of things, that's all that changed, for now. However, Dataminers, Reality UK, and Alex, who we've talked about here on the channel, they went in to get a closer look, and it seems like Year 2 of content is indeed on the way, with a map or two being introduced here in the near future, a new operator, 2 new weapons, along with a couple of bundles that were added on the back end. As for the map, one seems to be guaranteed. The build is ready to go. Alex even force-loaded it and was able to walk around in it, play around on the map. That being WMD, the classic that we saw from Black Ops. It returned in Black Ops 4 and is seemingly again coming within Black Ops Cold War. Now, right now, it's rumored also that we could see Jungle, another map that has been reported to be in the game files, but conflicting reports on that one. So that may be something that's a little further on down the line. It might not happen, but that's something that was thrown out there. But curious, because we keep seeing these maps come up through COD history. Personally, if we're going to see some remakes, I'd be cool with something that we haven't quite seen before. WMD being the 3rd introduction, Jungle, if it comes, that'd be what, the 4th introduction, because we had it in Black Ops 3 as a part of the Back in Black maps as a pre-order bonus for Black Ops 4, whatever it was, and then we had it in Black Ops 4 in both the standard and also flooded variation of that. So to see that for a 5th, potentially 5th introduction, if you count the variation map as a new one or not, kind of interesting to consider. But then outside of that, Ravenov from the Dark Ether storyline looks to be coming as a playable operator. Now, he as an operator is likely going to follow the same rule sets as how we see other operators introduced, not likely an organic unlock, but instead something available in the shop. And if you actually take a look at it, which we'll come back to, the sort of bundles that were data mined as well, his operator bundle looks to come with that brand new weapon of the Scythe. So I guess kind of transitioning now here into that, we do have those 2 new weapons that have been leaked and are up on deck. One, of course, being a Scythe, a new melee weapon, but the only sort of functional weapon, if you want to call it that, something that can challenge gunfights, is going to be a brand new rifle, which was teased and leaked a couple of days ago by these data miners, but now we actually have a little bit more information on it. Apparently, it's supposed to be called the Vargo 52, and this also will be coming alongside a bundle as well, but these do end up having organic unlocks, unlike those operators. The only other stuff that we can learn from this update are a handful of different bundles that were pulled as well, which do look pretty cool, but don't really want to focus on that too much. The only one that kind of ties back into some of the other stuff that we talked about here was that of that new Vargo 52 having a Mastercraft releasing with that. So you can unlock it via organic challenge, or you can just purchase it outright immediately. But outside of that, just know that there are a couple of bundles that may be coming as well. But realistically, when I think about this content here at hand, the next question that I kind of think of is, well, is this out of the ordinary at all? Because for players that maybe don't follow a game as much after it's out of its main year of support, this may seem kind of out of the ordinary. And listen, I've grinded Vanguard, played it more than Cold War, but I totally recognize that it's not everyone's cup of tea. And by comparison, objectively speaking, it is indeed doing worse in terms of player counts and then also sales figures as compared to Cold War and Modern Warfare. A lot of people will probably take this and immediately write it off as, oh, they're abandoning ship, they know it's dead, or whatever excuse you can craft up. But in reality, post-Year 1 support is actually kind of a norm at this point. Last year, we had plenty of Modern Warfare content continue through Cold War's main year of support, dispersed randomly, but we saw a handful of unreleased bundles, 2 operators of Soap and Sparks, 3 weapons of the CX-9, Psychov, and Raoul, 3 maps of Killhouse, Drainage, and Al Rob Airbase, blueprints that were then added under the radar for those that completed gunfight tournaments, and some smaller things here and there. Now, you could also chalk that up to it being Modern Warfare 2019 way more successful than Cold War was in continuing content, because maybe they gave up on Cold War at that point, like you may think is happening this year. But to me, I think that's a little bit more cynical, because this goes way further back than that. Black Ops 4 had some support post-launch of Modern Warfare, adjusting the black market and things that were a bit more unfair, anti-consumer on that side of things. World War II dropped a dozen or so weapons in Black Ops 4's main year of support. And in fact, we kind of saw World War II set up the normalization of this process for us with continuing content out into the summer months, if I believe, even that far out. But really, it all stems back to Black Ops 3, and since then, we've kind of seen everything each year give us at least a little bit after the launch of the next game. Some more than others, but it's not really out of the ordinary here in regards to seeing new content coming. But the final question I have here for this is, well, if it wasn't released today, when will we see this kind of stuff happen? Because we will see this stuff then kind of set up to be knocked out later on down the line. Otherwise, it wouldn't be added into the game files, and it would have been mentioned if it had a place right now. Now, Season 2 is right around the corner. That is something that is quite possible we end up seeing, but at the same time, I'm also not expecting it to take away from the Season 2 launches that they're trying to push for Vanguard and Warzone. If anything, I'd expect it to kind of happen randomly across Season 2 at the earliest. Maybe it happens at launch, but I don't quite see that happening, because the last couple of years we haven't seen that launch with new seasons, but it is possible, I guess. But the next month to 2 months or so may see us introduced to a new weapon that you can grind out in Black Ops Cold War and then take over into Warzone. Maybe it disturbs the overall meta of Warzone even, but then you'll have a couple of things introduced on the multiplayer side of things for Cold War as well, for those that are still playing that. Now, strangely, on the zombie side of things, it's a big question mark right now. Nothing was explicitly leaked here, though Alex did say there might be a new zombies map coming. Won't say anything more. Curious to see how that all shapes up if they were to add a new zombies map into Cold War and not Vanguard zombies. But we'll see how that all breaks down. But right now, that's kind of where we're at here at this. Year 2 looks to be coming in the near future here and under the radar for most people. So that said, let me know your thoughts down below. What do you guys think of this here? Are you looking forward to a year 2 of content for Black Ops Cold War perhaps? Any new weapon you want to play around with? Any new map you want to get your hands on? Or do you not really care all that much? Did you uninstall Black Ops Cold War and move on with it? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts down below. But if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, drop a like on the video. And if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Call of Duty. We got you covered with all updates, news, information, loadouts, tips, tricks, all that good stuff. We got you covered. So if you're interested, I'd love to have you in the community. But said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.